Hey folks, Terry here. We're talking Trump Biden again and the last week of the 2020 election. I look back 4 years ago and we're in almost the exact position today that we were in then. We've got a corrupt politician running against a solid, ruthless businessman. Corrupt politician who's lined his pockets and produced nothing for America against a businessman now who's been in office for almost 4 years and produced and fought for America. How did we get here again? Well, it's pretty simple. It's the swamp. It's the machine. It's the Democrat machine. It's the Republican machine. It's the media machine. And they're all against the change being brought by a businessman. We're at a point, I don't think there would be a close election if it hadn't been for the coronavirus. A virus that, of course, the Democrats blame Donald Trump for. Well, the coronavirus is not Donald Trump's fault. The deaths that have resulted from the coronavirus are not Donald Trump's fault. This is a virus that is spread all over the world. It's a virus that has had resurgences all over the world. You know, they try to blame Trump. There was just an article about Italy, how they did everything right, and it's back. Look over in the UK, it's back. Look over in Germany, it's back. France, it's back. Ireland, it's back. It's a virus. That's why it's back. It's like the flu. It comes back all the time. We need a vaccine. It's not Donald Trump's fault that the virus is back. The virus twice shut down Israel. They're just reopening after the second shutdown. Is it Donald Trump that all of those foreign countries have had a resurgence of the virus? No, it's the virus. And it came from China, and the Democrats don't even want to tell you that. But let's get back to, we have a career politician with no record of success, other than winning elections and lining his pockets. And he's up against a businessman, a ruthless businessman who fights and wins for America. And that's what the record shows. So let's talk about Biden's successes. His successes are the 1994 crime bill, which of course is blamed for putting millions of minorities in prison, and Obamacare, which he's pushing again. Obamacare, and he says a national option. He means Medicaid. Well, Obamacare promised us a reduction of $2,500 in our health insurance policies. We've probably had an increase of $5,000 in our policies since Obamacare was enacted. Obamacare, they promised us you didn't have to change doctors, you didn't have to change your policy. And then you did. And guess what? Joe Biden is now promising you won't have to change your doctors and you won't have to change your insurance if you don't want to. Wow. Real big. And he's complaining that, the Republicans are getting rid of it. They got rid of the individual mandate. We had over 8 million people paying a fine because they couldn't afford health insurance under Obamacare. Another 11 million people were exempted that didn't have it. So when they said Obamacare was going to insure everybody, it left 20 million people uninsured. Obamacare was the big lie. But let's go back to Joe Biden, his successes. The crime bill and Obamacare, those are his successes. What else? Well, middle-class Joe got rich off of 47 years in public service on a public servant salary. How is that? How is he middle-class Joe, this millionaire who has a house in Delaware. Should call it a castle in Delaware in Wilmington. He's got a beach house in Rehoboth on the beach there. And up until March, when he got the nomination, he was renting a house in McLean, Virginia, the D.C. area, his D.C. house, for $20,000 a month. Middle-class Joe, renting a house for $20,000 a month, owning a castle in Wilmington, and having a beach house in Rehoboth. That doesn't sound so middle class to me. So how did middle class Joe do this on a public servant salary? Well, in the last week, we've learned a little bit about how. You see, Hunter Biden left his laptop at a computer repair shop and abandoned it. And after several calls, didn't bother to pick it up. And the laptop owner turned it over to the FBI, but also to the Trump campaign, to Rudy Giuliani, who turned it over to the news and to the Delaware State Police to investigate problems that appear to be on that laptop. What do we hear about it from the Biden campaign? We don't hear anything about the laptop or the emails. They don't deny that the laptop was Hunter Biden's. They don't deny the validity of those emails. We have 3 separate witnesses now who've confirmed that those emails are valid, legitimate emails that were sent to the people listed on it. Hunter Biden is one of the people. They talk about business dealings. They talk about business dealings in Ukraine. They talk about business dealings in Russia. They talk about business dealings in Kazakhstan. They talk about business dealings in Iraq. And they talk about business dealings in China. Now, they've been turned over to the FBI, and the FBI is going to interview a business partner with Hunter Biden, who was a retired lieutenant in the Navy. He's a guy who's not in any type of trouble. One of the guys who verified the emails is actually in prison, one of Hunter Biden's business partners. This guy is not in trouble and hasn't been investigated or put in jail. He's a former Navy lieutenant. And he says those emails are true. And he says that the emails show that pay to play was in place. That's a big deal because Joe Biden says he knew nothing about his son's business dealings, never asked him about them. His son flew on a plane with him to China. He never talked about it. And yet in China, they met a business partner, including Joe. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's 2 brothers, they all cashed in big during the Biden vice presidency. We all know about the Ukraine case. Joe Biden was dealing with the government telling them to fire a prosecutor. Well, it turned out that prosecutor was investigating Burisma, an energy company that was corrupt, and that Hunter Biden happened to be on the board of. They say the investigating attorney was corrupt, and that's why Biden told them to fire him. So you got the U.S. telling another country to fire their attorney general. It just doesn't sound right. And he's leveraging it with $1 billion in U.S. aid. And that attorney happens to be investigating a company that his son is doing business with, making a lot of money, and his son never had to go to Ukraine. It just smells. It smells really bad. It smells like pay to play. It smells like influence peddling. It smells like meet and greet, which is how it was described. They paid millions of dollars to meet and greet. Not $100, millions of dollars to meet and greet. There were schemes, and they involved the Biden family and Joe Biden. Sure, Joe Biden didn't get the money directly. He couldn't show money from these foreign countries. He was running for president. This happened between 2017 and 2019. Actually, part of it happened when he was the vice president. So this one Navy Lieutenant, Bubelinski, has said that the Bidens were paranoid about their name being involved with the business. So they were told to keep that quiet. Now, this guy met Joe Biden. There's an email about a businessman from Ukraine, I believe, thanking Hunter for having met Joe Biden. There's a photo of Joe Biden meeting one of the businessmen from Kazakhstan. And in the emails, there's a discussion about percentages, how much money is needed, and what percent would go to Hunter and what percent would go to his father, the big guy. There's also information about Biden's brother in these dealings. You know, Biden's family, they had no experience in these matters. His son's working, his brother's working, his brother's making millions out of Iraq. So this was pay to play, and the politician's family rakes it in. Not takes it in, they rake it in. We're talking huge dollars. That may technically not be a crime, but that is corrupt politics as we know it. That is everything that's wrong with our political system and everything that's been wrong with our political system. That's what Donald Trump ran against in 2016. He told you these politicians come, they promise you everything, they produce nothing. The one thing we all know, look at these politicians, look at these congressmen, look at these senators. How is it they're rich? How is it they're rich? Middle class Joe. How is it that he's got the mansion in Wilmington? He's got the beach house in Rehoboth. He's paying $20,000 a month for a rental in McLean, Virginia. Because this is corruption. It's 100% corrupt. May not be illegal, but it's corruption. It's immoral. And he goes out telling you what a great guy he is. Now he's going to fix everything for you. After 47 years in politics and doing nothing, he's now going to come and fix everything for you. That just doesn't pass the smell test. Now, when Biden was vice president, the Obama State Department went to the White House and said, there's a conflict of interest going on here in Ukraine. Hunter's working for this corrupt energy company, and Joe's dealing with Ukraine with heavy money. And the White House told them to back off, that Biden's family was off grounds. They said at the time they were off grounds because Beau Biden had died and they didn't want to be insensitive toward Joe Biden. The Obama State Department did that. It's very much like the Obama CIA briefed the White House that Hillary Clinton was engaging in a smear campaign and drumming up Russian collusion against Donald Trump. And the Obama White House allowed that to continue and then allowed the FBI to drag us through a fake Russian collusion story. That's all been proven, been testified to. Those State Department documents about Ukraine, about Burisma, and briefing the White House, that's been testified to in the United States Congress. That information about the CIA briefing President Obama about Hillary smearing Donald Trump with Russian collusion stories was testified to. It's absurd what's been allowed to happen with these career politicians. Vice President Biden went to China on Air Force Two. Beau Biden went along. They met with Chinese businessmen while they were there. Nothing wrong with that. That's dirty, dirty, dirty. And I don't care if Joe Biden says he didn't know anything. That's dirty, dirty, dirty. How did he not know what his son was going along for? How did he not know that his son was doing business when he was there? And there are photos of it, and there are emails about it. This is absurd. Now, this former lieutenant from the Navy, Bublinski, is set to meet with the FBI. After that, he's going to meet with the Homeland Security Committee in the Senate. And after that, he's going to meet with the Senate Finance Committee, which happens to be investigating money laundering, which was flagged because of bank transactions that came up involving Hunter Biden. So what we have a typical career politician filling the family coffers, running around playing middle-class Joe when he's really pockets line Joe. On the other side, we have Donald Trump, an abrasive, ruthless, career unpolitician, a businessman who gets things done, who fights and wins for America, not for himself. He's lost money in his own company over the last 4 years, even in his company name. But he's fought and won for America. He's produced a better economy through tax cuts and reduced burdensome regulations, and produced the best economy in 25 years for Americans of all backgrounds. Blacks, Hispanics, Asians, women, whites, everybody had a better economy under Donald Trump. He increased take-home pay, median income. He lowered unemployment. He lowered poverty. He fought for better trade deals with Mexico, with Canada, with the EU, with Japan, with China. He got NATO to pony up and pay their way, something that wasn't done. On immigration, what's he done? He promised he was going to build the wall and tighten immigration, and he's doing it. He's doing it while being fought by the Democrats, even after Joe Biden voted to build the wall when he was a senator. Donald Trump has gotten the Mexicans to put their troops on the border to help guard the border. So their troops are actually like our wall. And he's built 400 miles of the wall. In the Middle East, he's made peace deals with Arab and Muslim countries and Israel. Yeah, peace deals. Donald Trump did that. Hasn't happened in 25 years. And he stayed out of unnecessary wars. That's a big deal. He's protected religious liberty while putting conservative judges on the courts. And we'll have 3 outstanding judges on the courts as a result of Donald Trump's nominations. The Supreme Court, almost 300 on the federal courts. He supported and funded our military while providing them with raises, first time in about 10 years. And he continues to support our police and a law and order agenda. He's fought to help minorities. He reformed the horrible 1994 crime bill that Joe Biden pushed through the Senate. He funded historically Black colleges. He's fought for and won for America every step of the way. And who's he fought? He's fought the swamp. First, he fought the Republican machine, all the politicians, all the people that want to keep politics as it is, rolling with money, filling the pockets of the politicians. Beat the Republican machine, then he beat the Democrat machine. He beat the corrupt Clinton machine. He beat the corrupt media, which Hillary's emails, remember them? They proved to us that the media was colluding with Hillary. Now we know they're colluding with Joe. Hey, Joe, we got a few hard questions for you here today, right? You mind? What flavor ice cream do you like? President Trump, could you tell us how you're going to cure the corona and world peace? I mean, the media is a joke. Trump keeps fighting for America. He fights for us, and he wins. And he's doing it across the board. He's pro-God, pro-America, pro-religious liberty, pro-law and order. And the Democrats are not. The Democrats are a nightmare. Even if Joe Biden believed half of what he says, and he lies about, he's pro-fracking when he's anti-fracking. He's not. He's got the worst ideas on abortion. He wants pro-abortion up until the moment of birth. It's brutal. Crush a baby's life. And he wants to federally fund it, not only in America, but in other countries as well. And we know the Democrats were pro-riot and protest. And why? Because they thought it would hurt Donald Trump. We had fires, arsons, assaults, murders, and they were calling it peaceful protesting. It's all disappeared from the news now. You notice that about the media? It's all just disappeared because Biden and Harris were pro-protest and riot. They were even bailing people out. So step back, take a close look at the accomplishments of Donald Trump. Do you want a career politician who makes all kinds of promises and sounds nice, just the same way that Obama did, but doesn't produce? Do you want a stagnant economy? Do you want higher taxes? Do you want more abortions, free and unlimited all the time? Do you want crappy healthcare? You look at Corona, the one good thing out of it shows that our healthcare is better than most other countries. And that's because we don't have national healthcare. I say that, look at the confirmed case fatality rate. Our confirmed case fatality rate is like 2.65%. Most of the EU is up in the 4.5 to 5 range. And other countries are higher. I don't compare us to dictatorships in communist countries because I don't know anything about their information being accurate. The biggest argument against Trump is the coronavirus. People, the coronavirus is a problem all over the world. It's resurgent all over the world. It's not Donald Trump's fault. And Donald Trump has done so much to help therapeutics and help with a vaccine and produce PPEs and produce ventilators and do the support role that the federal government has in this country, that it's insulting to blame him for the coronavirus because he wasn't wearing a mask and he didn't push the message that you should. Many people don't believe the masks work. Many, doctors included in that. All of us look at what the doctors say and make a decision. You're responsible for the decisions you make, and you should be doing it based on doctors and scientists. If you're doing it based on my opinion or the president's opinion, shame on you. But the people blaming the president, shame on them. They're dead wrong. This president's done a great job. So step back, look at his compliments, Look at his accomplishments. We should reward him and America by reelecting him. Trump 2020.